I called up 10 dealerships to ask them their thoughts on the used car market. You see, over the last few months, there's been a lot of news circulating around the used car market crashing. Auto loan delinquencies increasing, repossessions increasing, demand waning, inflation rising, and because of all of this, the market is on the verge of a major shift. And in some ways, we can see this shift in automotive pricing today, but in other ways, we can't really notice a substantial change, at least on the consumer level. But what I really wanted to know is what dealerships had to say about the current state of the used car market. So with the help of my business partner and fiance, HP, we decided to call up 10 totally different dealerships in different parts of the country to ask them what their thoughts were. And we did this by asking the same 3 questions. The questions we decided to ask was number 1, what are you currently seeing with used cars? Number 2, are prices going down? And last but not least, is now the right time to buy a car? And if not today, when? And what we found was interesting, but not particularly surprising. We actually got the chance to speak with both salesmen as well as sales managers, and whenever we asked them what the current state of their inventory was, they claimed that inventory was fine.
We do have ample inventory on our used car department, yes sir.
In fact, not one dealership said that they were tight on inventory, claiming to have hundreds if not thousands of dealerships at not only their location, but through their dealership networks.
Oh no, we have plenty of vehicles here in our inventory. I mean, that being said, I have 5 other stores, which in total I have about 700 used vehicles. I have the most vehicles here in the DFW area at the moment.
Which could technically be true, but also seems like a little bit of an over-exaggeration, because according to Cox Automotive, total daily average inventory was at 49 last month, which was actually a 27% increase above the same time last year. But the data also show that inventory across dealerships isn't the same throughout different makes, model, and price ranges, and that the data shows that the cheaper the car is, the less inventory there is for that car, because there's an increase in demand for these more affordable vehicles. Basically, the cheaper the car, the harder it is to find. Which makes sense, because according to Group 1 Automotive CEO Earl Hesterberg, demand is shifting to lower price points, and a different dealer out of Michigan called prices from $10,000 to $15,000 the hottest part of the car market right now. Higher demand means lower inventory, makes total sense, but whenever you ask dealerships directly what their inventory situation is, they almost always answer the exact same way, which is, we have a ton of cars available, what are you looking for?
Yeah, we do have a great selection of pre-owned inventory. We share our inventory with our 8 different locations.
Which is a fair response, I suppose, but it isn't particularly helpful. But then this of course brings the question of, how do prices currently look in the used car market?
They're not as high as they were, I'll tell you that, when there was no inventory. We're starting to see vehicles come in here in the next 3 months or so. Plus, you're going to really see a lot of new vehicles land, which gives options to people who've been waiting, to get a vehicle. A lot of people are pre-ordering, so the cars are arriving. So there will be a lot of trade-ins that are coming into the market. So you could say that the used car market, might be going down in price-wise. So if you're trying to, let's say, sell a car, now is the time to sell the car. While it's still higher than it would be. The worth of the vehicle would be less, in 90 days, of course.
Gotcha.
Because according to Cox Automotive, Manheim, as well as third-party platforms like CarGurus, Cars.com, and AutoTrader, prices are in fact trending down. But these same price decreases aren't really being reflected on a consumer level, at least not in a substantial way. Now, most dealerships acknowledge that prices have at least inched down.
Oh yeah, it's most definitely declined since the time that everything started, skyrocketing and everything, the decline has been there already,
Others have stated that prices are stable.
The prices are actually stable at this time. They are high, unfortunately.
And some even stated that though prices have decreased, they're not going to decrease anymore. In fact, they're going to increase.
The used car market is not really going to change as far as pricing. It fluctuates daily. But,
Okay.
you're probably not going to see how it was 3 years ago anytime soon.
But with little insight as to what prices currently are in relation to where they're heading, we also decided to, of course, ask the question of, is now the right time to buy? And if not now, when would you recommend buying? And dealerships, once again, weren't particularly helpful. Some salesmen were actually extremely nice and honest and acknowledged the fact that it really depends on your specific situation. If you're somebody that needs a car today because yours broke or became totaled, then you need a car today and your options are rather limited. And in that case, now isn't a particularly bad time to buy a car, but it also isn't the best.
Depends on your situation. If you need a car, I mean, it's really not much of a decision. You have to get a car. It depends again what you want to do. It's a matter of personal preference and personal need. Obviously.
Others said that used car prices aren't going down anytime soon, so of course right now is probably the best time to buy.
Yeah, why not? We definitely have like a bunch of different sales going on. We are discounting our different vehicles on top of their already great discounted prices.
Others said that they couldn't tell the future.
I mean, right, I can't predict the future in 6 months, but I mean, from what I'm seeing, the prices have gone down.
And again, others said that prices were never going down. They were actually going to be increasing, and that if we see a price decrease, it actually isn't going to come until 2026.
No, I mean, me stepping out of a salesman, right now is like the best time to buy, because, I mean, we're going to have another, spike on the prices. So prices are going to go up again,
Okay.
A lot of people are like, hey, I'm just going to wait, until the price go down more. But I mean, they're actually going to go up probably at the end of the year and beginning of the next year.
So you think used prices are actually going to go up in the next 6 to 12 months?
Correct.
Between now and 6 months is not going to change because it is originally predicted around 2026 for the market to kind of come back to normal. But even then, there's still changes where they can extend it even past that.
Okay. Now again, I want to reiterate that I spoke to both salespeople working the sales floor, as well as sales managers who are in charge of the entire department. And ultimately, the conclusion and the point of this video is the fact that whenever it comes to your best interest, whenever purchasing a new or used car and doing the research required in order to make an educated, thoughtful purchase, dealerships really aren't your best resource for information. At the end of the day, they don't have your best interest in mind. They simply want to make the sale. And I don't necessarily blame them for this mindset, because at the end of the day, that is their job. But what this emphasizes is the fact that you as the buyer have to go into this market as an educated consumer. I made a video earlier this week talking about how to become an educated buyer, and I'll link this video up here. But my conversation with sales representatives as well as sales managers really solidifies this. If you asked a used car salesman how inventory looks, they'll always say it looks great. If you ask when prices will fall, they'll say never, or they'll say they can't predict the future. And if you ask when is the best time to buy, they will almost without a doubt say now is the best time. The reality is car prices are falling, though not at a substantial rate as of right now. But the reality is cars are still unaffordable, and we have a ways to go until the average car becomes affordable to the average consumer once again. Cars appreciated 40, 50, 60% in a matter of months, and it's going to unfortunately take a lot longer than that for things to return to normal. I wanted to make this video because I was really interested in seeing what dealerships had to say and what dealerships are saying to the average consumer about car prices. I give dealerships a lot of flack on this channel, and I will be the first to admit that I am not a huge fan of dealerships or car salespeople. But I really ultimately wanted to see with my own ears and my own eyes what dealerships have to say and what they're actively saying to people that are interested in buying cars. And the result is pretty much exactly what I expected. Car salesmen are going to tell you what they think you want to hear or need to hear in order to get you to buy a car. And they don't really care if you're going to be leaving money on the table by buying now rather than waiting for 6 months down the line. And sure, you'll find those car salesmen that really tell you the truth and have your true best interests at heart, but those types of car salesmen are a diamond in the rough. At the end of the day, you have to have your own best interests at heart. You can't rely on a dealership or a car salesman to educate you with what you need to know when buying a car. So make sure to turn to unbiased, valuable resources like Cox Automotive, Manheim, or even just keep an eye out on the used car market yourself, and you'll be able to learn all that you need to know. Like always, you guys, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it. So make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.